Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another video. On this video, I want to talk to you guys about 3 things that you have to do before you invest in crypto, before you invest in real estate, before you build that business, and before you jump into the stock market game with both feet. Now, the things I'm going to tell you on here are 3 basic things. For some of you guys, it may take you 6 months. For some of you guys, it may take you 6 days. It just depends on your situation. If you're stopping by this channel for the first time, do me a favor, subscribe, and also smash the like button if you get anything at all out of this video. My name is Eric, and I help people one-on-one financial mentoring and coaching about their personal finances or about their real estate. Either one, because I've invested in real estate for over 20 years. And I've been able to take my net worth from a negative $30,000 to where I am today, 20 years later. I also offer a free 15-minute phone conversation to anyone so we can discuss your situation, because everybody's financial situation is slightly different. Personal finance is personal. And in that 15-minute phone conversation, we figure out if I'm the best fit for you to move forward with more coaching and more mentoring. So on this quick video, it's all about the foundation, the basics, exactly where you should start. Whenever you build a house, the first thing you got to do is build a strong foundation that's solid, that's not going anywhere, that's not cracked. And the same thing is true with your money. Who cares if you got beautiful walls, beautiful carpet, beautiful chandeliers, the plumbing is in place? None of that matters if the foundation is bad. And so what we want to do with personal finance is build a strong, solid foundation. That way, when you do take the risk of building a business, or you do take the risk of investing in crypto or the stock market, that risk is better supported. And you're not out there about to lose your shirt because you didn't have some of the basic things in order. So we want to make sure that the foundation is strong. Now, I'm going to give you 3 things. There's more, but these 3 are 3 of the most important things you have to do with your money first. So the very first thing you got to do is you have to go into your human resources department. If you work a job, go into your human resources department, figure out, do they offer a 401k? And if they offer a 401k, what do they match? Does the company match anything in the 401k or the 403b? What do they match? You want to contribute to that particular retirement system or 401k or 403b up to the match. For some companies, that's 3%. For some, it's 5 or 6%. That means that you contribute 3% of your before tax dollars, and the company will match that and give you 3 more percent on top of your 3%. So it's essentially, most people call it free money. And you don't really want to leave that money on the table if you have an opportunity to get it just by investing about 3% of your own money or 5% of your own money. Get the match. That's the very first thing I'm telling you. If you need to change some things around in terms of what you do with your budget so that you have 3% that you can put in, do that. Change things around. Stop doing a habit that's taken from your future. You want to make a few sacrifices now to have that 3 or 5% to get that match that's going to help you down the road and later in life. If you go ahead and get the 401k at your job and get the match, be sure that if you ever leave that job, you have that money transferred. You don't see the money. You don't want them to send the money to you because you've got $10,000 in there and you've been putting into it for a couple years. You don't want to see the money because you're going to pay a heavy penalty and taxes on the money that you receive. You want to wait until you get another job and have that money transferred from one 401k, your old job, to the new 401k at your new job. So that's very important. The word transfer is very important to make sure you tell your HR when you decide to leave that job. So that's the very first thing that I want you to do. Now, if you have a job that doesn't offer a match, then you need to say, let me go ahead and open up a brokerage account at one of the large brokerage houses, the Merrill Lynch, the Charles Schwab, the Vanguard, the Fidelity. Open up a brokerage account, tie it to your checking account, and you need to take it upon yourself to put in about 3% of your own salary or 2% if that's all you can do. But put in something on a regular monthly basis. If that means changing something that you do on a monthly basis, a habit you have, a hobby you have, or some extra money, you need to find some money to actually do that. Now, some of you are going to watch this video and you're going to say, I can't find any extra money. My budget is down to the bare bones. I understand that. For some of you, that may be true. For a lot of you, though, if you shift some things around, do a couple of things different, make a sacrifice or a concession here or there, you can find $50 a month. You can find $30 a month. You can find, for some of you, you can find $150 a month if you just move a few things around. Your situation is different than other people's situation. You have to find what's best for you. So if your job does not offer a match, I suggest you open up an account at a brokerage house and start putting a little bit of money, not enough to hurt you, but just enough to help you. And when you actually open that account at that large brokerage house, I would suggest a Roth IRA. And a Roth just simply means that you're using after-taxed dollars. When you contribute to a 401k or a 403b at your job, you're using before-tax dollars, tax-deferred dollars, meaning that you defer the taxes now, but you have to pay them later. Whereas with a Roth IRA, you've already paid the taxes on the money, and when you go to withdraw it down the road, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So I suggest if you open up a brokerage account at Fidelity or Vanguard or one of those, try to do a Roth IRA. And there's some limits to how much you can actually put into a Roth each year. So keep that in mind as well. Part of what I tell people at the end of every video is the best person to take care of the old you is the young you. And that's why this is number one. The first thing you should do is try to at least get the company match or at least put a little bit of money towards your own retirement. You've got to take care of the old you. It's not your children's responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. It's not the city council member's responsibility or the president's responsibility. Your old self is relying on you. It's your responsibility. When you're healthy and when you're capable and when you have the energy, that's when you should be planning and deciding what's going to happen financially with the old you. Number two, the second thing you got to do to build your foundation, your money foundation, before you jump in with both feet in the stock market and start putting 20% of your money there, before you invest in real estate or crypto, or even before you build that business that you've always wanted to do. The second thing you got to do is you have to create a budget. You have to figure out how much money you have coming in and how much money you're sending out. Do a monthly budget that is unique to that month. Your February budget should not look like your April budget. Your April budget is going to look a little different than your October budget. You need to do a monthly budget so you can start accounting for your money that's coming in, accounting and being responsible for exactly what's going out. You also want to do a budget because you want to tell your money what to do, how to do, when to do. That's empowering you to be in control of your money. Again, this is your money. So that means you have to tell it what to do. You can go spend it on a party, or you can go spend it on your future, or you can go, it's yours. You get to do what you want to do with it. My suggestion is you do a zero-based budget. You tell every single dollar exactly what to do. The other thing that's important to note about a budget is that if you have regular occurring items that happen every single year, you need to be budgeting for those things. For example, if you know every year that the kids are going to need school clothes and school supplies around August, then you start budgeting for that in December and January and February and March. You know that Christmas is December 25th every single year. Then you start planning for that every single month prior. This is what a budget does. It organizes you. It helps you plan for the future and for future events that you know are going to come up. The other important thing about a budget is it helps you figure out what is your discretionary income. How much money is left at the end of each month? For some of you, you may only have $30 or $40 or $50 at the end of each month. For some of you, you may have $300 or $400 at the end of each month. If you're not budgeting, you don't have a clue what your discretionary income is. And you want to know what your discretionary income is because it's going to help with number three. Number three is you have to have an emergency fund before you jump into crypto, before you jump into real estate, before you jump with both feet into stock market investing. You have to have an idea what your discretionary income is, because that little bit left over each month is what you're going to put towards your emergency fund. Now, I like to suggest that people have at least a couple of $1,000s if something goes wrong as a starter, just to start an emergency fund. For some of you guys, it may take you a couple of months to come up with that. For some of you, it may take you 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 months to come up with a couple of $1,000s. But you've got to have money set aside for when the washing machine breaks down, for when the tires on the car need replacing, for when something happens that you didn't expect to happen. It's going to happen. You got to be ready. And so if you had a business and you had an emergency, now you got to say, hey, I got to stop the business for a month and try to put money towards my emergency. If you had a bunch of money tied up in real estate and you don't even have an emergency fund, something goes wrong, now you got to stop the real estate stuff, because now you have to come over and deal with emergency. But if you actually have emergency money ready, then you can keep rolling with the other stuff while you take care of the emergency with your emergency funds. This is why money set aside for an emergency is extremely, extremely important. It helps you mitigate the risk of some of the other things that you're trying to do. If you have money set aside, you don't have to get a payday loan. You don't have to go out and borrow money from a family member or a friend. You have the money. So you come up with $2,000 to start. Now, ultimately, what you want to do is look at your budget, and you want to be able to build out that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of needs. So what I mean by that is when you look at your budget, you figure out what are your needs on that budget: the food, the clothing, the access to water, those type of things, the need. Once you figure out what your needs are each month, because your budget may not be your needs, right? Your budget might be, you might spend $4,000 a month, but only $3,000 is actually your needs. So once you come up with your needs, then you come up and say, let me multiply that by 3 months. If your needs are $3,000, then 3 months of emergency savings is $9,000. Now that's a full-blown emergency fund. I'm not telling you to start with a full-blown emergency fund. I'm simply telling you to start with at least $2,000 before you jump into some of the other things. So hey, listen, I've given you 3 very important things. Get the 401k match, or at least start a Roth IRA at a reputable brokerage account. Number 2, make a budget. And number 3, have $2,000 of emergency money that you can get to. That's my 3 things. That's the beginning of your financial foundation. Before crypto, before real estate, before jumping with both feet into the stock market, and before building that business, take care of the foundation first. Hey, if you got anything at all out of this video, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. The best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.